Say hello to the good people of the internet. Say hello. Say I'm about to destroy the Bookardy board. Every time. Hello Bookworm family, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Danny. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button down below. Don't forget to click the notification bell because it's always a mystery when I post new videos. And if you're not already following me on Instagram or TikTok, please be sure to go do that. It is at _dancing_bookworm. I post on there full book reviews and bookish content. So April TBR, guys, that's where we're at. I'm in a horrible filming location. Everything's a mess behind me, and the reason for that is because my cat's a monster. If you're new to my channel, I have a cat named Chandler Bing. He's extremely naughty, so cute though, so he gets away with a lot, but he has completely knocked over my books off my shelf. He's destroyed it. It's just a mess. I'm 2 days away from April break, spring break for us, so I'm gonna clean it up then, but I wanted to get this out before April. Not before April, but at least in the first couple days of April, and that wouldn't have happened if I waited to clean that area because I'm not gonna be able to clean it until like the middle of next week. So we're going to just film here today and be okay with that, and I'm a little tired and a little lazy, so this is fine. This is fine right now. So anyways, April, I'm not doing any readathons besides my normal stuff. So I'm doing Bookardy, which is my book game, my TBR game that I play. I am doing Reading Rivalry, which is my Facebook group that I'm a part of that is like a kind of reading game. If you guys want to check it out, it is just Reading Rivalry on Facebook. You guys can kind of take a peek and see if that's something you're interested in. And then I'm doing the 12 classics in 12 months. So that's really all I'm doing. I know there's a lot of great readathons happening this month. I just don't have time. I didn't film at all in April or all in March because I had back-to-back competitions, community performances, and my after-school dance programs that I teach at separate from the studio. I teach like 2 schools after-school dance, but they both had their recitals. So, and they were like back-to-back. One was on Friday, one was on Tuesday. So all that is kind of out of the way, but in April I do still have a community performance at a local hockey game where we perform in like the War Memorial area, and then the kids get to go watch the hockey game afterwards, which is really fun. And I do have one more competition, which will be Ava's first competition. Not her first, she's competed before when she was like 5, but she competed one dance. The competition was only 1 day long. She didn't get like a real competition experience. It was kind of like a little tiny competition. It wasn't anything big or exciting for her. So this is gonna be like her first time making memories and having friends on her team and stuff to do competition. So yeah, so that is what we're gonna do. Is we're just gonna stick to those 3 things this month. I did kind of think of a couple other books I'd like to read, but I don't know if I'm going to get around to them. I don't even know if I'm going to get around to the ones that I have to do. I am going to do 1 extra roll on my Bookardy this month because I did not do a TBR in March, so just kind of a little bonus for you guys. I didn't really do much in March for you guys, so I'm going to do 1 extra roll and hopefully I can get through that because I do have at least spring break to read if I can really devote myself, but spring break is also my birthday, so my birthday is April 3rd, so we'll see. I'm kind of up in the air about how this month's gonna go, but we're crossing our fingers it'll go well. Anyway, if you're new to my channel, Bookardy, it is based off of Jeopardy, and what happens is I roll the dice. Whatever number the dice lands on, I will pick from any category of my choosing: sci-fi, fantasy, realistic, contemporary, nonfiction, memoir, mystery, thriller, historic, or miscellaneous. So I can pick from any of those categories, but I have to pick from the number that I rolled. So if I roll a 1, I have to pick from the 100s, 2, 200s, 3, 300s, 4, 400s, 5, 500s, and if I roll a 6, I can pick anything I want. Along with that, if I don't read a book in the month, then, or like if I don't read a book, I'll have to pick an extra book. But since I didn't read anything in March, that's not happening, but I'm picking an extra book anyway because I didn't really do anything in March. And if I draw a card that says double Jeopardy, if I roll a double Jeopardy and I've already had 3 books picked out, I'm gonna double that. So that would mean I would have to add 6 more books to my TBR, which is insane. Like, to think about, if I had already, like, if it was my last card and I already had 5 cards on my TBR, like already had 5 books, and I, on my 6th draw, got a double Jeopardy, I would then have to take those 5 books and double it and pick 10 more books for my TBR, which means I would have a Bookardy TBR of 15 books, which is insane. I don't know why that's a rule. I don't know why I did it to myself, but I did. So yeah, I'm hoping I don't get a double Jeopardy this month, because I really wouldn't be able to handle it. It would not happen. So cross our fingers, that's not a thing. But without further ado, let's get into Bookardy, and then I'll explain reading Rivalry and the 12 classics in 12 months after that. All right, guys, we're just doing the rolls on the bed today because that's where I want to do it. So let's do roll number 1. We've got a 3 and a Chandler who loves to help me play Bookardy. So we will start with, what do we want to start with? Let's start with sci-fi fantasy. I always start with sci-fi fantasy, I feel like. Recommended to me. So a book that somebody recommended to me. All right, that should be fairly easy. So we got sci-fi fantasy recommended to me. So I kind of had to fudge this a little bit because I don't get a lot of people recommending me books that are like people in person. I got a lot of people on the internet that recommend books, but one thing that I really love doing is just sitting down and watching booktubers, and I take their recommendations very like to heart, and I have almost always liked the books that How to Train Your Gavin from that channel, and Jade from JD Ray Reads likes. I have very similar taste in books to them, and I know one of the books that Gavin really likes is Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. Obviously, you guys probably know Jurassic Park the movie. If you don't, it is about a scientist who opens up an amusement park filled with dinosaurs that they have genetically made to be real live dinosaurs, and people can come into this amusement park, but the problem is that the dinosaurs, who are supposed to be kind of genetically altered to not attack or hurt anyone, they start getting wild animal instincts and start attacking. So if you guys don't know what Jurassic Park's about, I highly suggest you watch the movie. I love the movie, but Gavin has said nothing but great things about the book, and I do think I'm going to read that one. I also found that one on Scribd, so I'm doing a lot of audiobooks this month, which is going to be good for me because of how busy I'm going to be. So excited for audiobooks. All right, roll number 2. A 4. Chandler, no, I don't need your help playing Bookardy. Remember? We've talked about this. Okay. All right. Number 4. Let's do mystery thriller, and this can also count for true crime. So let's see what we got for number 4. Ooh, dice times 100 pages. So whatever the dice roll is, and then I have to multiply it by 100 pages, and that's how many, like, I have to be within a certain range of those pages as the number of pages in the book. So let's see what the dice roll is. Chandler, don't eat the dice, okay? Here we go. A 4. So it's going to be 400-page book is what we're looking for. All right, this one I knew was going to come up eventually, and I was kind of dreading it, but it's not too bad, I don't think. So basically, you guys saw I had to roll the dice. Whatever it landed on, I had to times it by 100. So I landed on a 4, which means I need a book that is in the 400s range. So it's got to start with a 4 and have 2 digits after it. And this actually works out. I did find an audiobook that works for this. And I know people are like, well, that's kind of cheating. You know what? It's a busy month. Let me cheat. But I don't think it's cheating. I think as long as the page numbers match up, I still have to listen to the entire book. So the audiobook is obviously going to match up with the length of the book. So it's not like it's a short book. It's just going to be listened to rather than read. For this one, I have picked Jean Benet, Inside the Ramsey Murder Investigation. This is by Steve Thomas. And I am not a huge, like, true crime person. I know I have a lot of friends who are, but I did decide that the mystery thriller category was also going to include true crime because I have so many friends who like true crime. I do know the JonBenet case very well. It was, I believe she was the same age as me, or maybe like a little bit older. So I think that because of that and like hearing that story, my whole life has really like made me interested in it and very like curious. I always say that if there's a heaven when I die, I would like to see my family first, but then also I want to see JonBenet and be like, who killed you? Because no one knows. So yeah, so I'm gonna read that book. And that will be what I do for mystery thriller / true crime is what I'm putting in there. So JonBenet, and that came out to 413 pages. So perfectly in the 400 range. All right, roll number 3. A 2. All right, what are we going with, Bing? What do you think? Let's do miscellaneous for 2. A graphic novel. Oh, that's music to my ears, Bing. Music to your ears? Music to our ears, yes. Graphic novel, so easy. Okay, so we got miscellaneous graphic novel, super easy one. We are gonna go with Frizzy by Claribel A. Ortega. The art is by Rose Bosamara. This is about a Latina girl who loves, or whose mom has always told her like she has to like wear her hair a certain way, but she's kind of really starting to love and embrace her frizz and her curls. And she ends up deciding that she wants to start like not having this presentable hair that her mom is forcing her to have. And she kind of goes like rogue against her mom and starts wearing her hair the way that she wants to wear it. It says that it's like with help with her aunt, and through her art and stuff, she's learning to accept herself, her heritage, her culture. I love Claribel A. Ortega's books. She wrote Ghost Squad and Witchlings. Both of those were 5 stars for me, which was really great. I don't know why I said it like that. That was weird. But I am excited to read a graphic novel by her. I don't know how her graphic novels are going to be. But this has been on my shelf for a few months and I've wanted to get to it and I just haven't yet. So I'm excited to get to this one. I think this one's going to be a good one. You are inching yourself closer to the board every time I look at you. All right, here we go. We've got roll number 4. A 2 again. All right, let's see. I know people want me to pick things that are not like sci-fi fantasy or realistic contemporary, but I haven't picked a realistic contemporary yet, so I'm going with that. A cozy read. Oh, that one's so nice. And that one benefits you too. We can be cozy together. All right, next we got a realistic contemporary cozy read. And guys, I'm so excited I got this. I love a cozy read. I love to just snuggle up and either listen to a book or read a book. For this, I picked the book Rick, and that is by Alex Gino. This is about a boy who is kind of like coming into himself and realizing that he, I believe, is of the LGBTQ umbrella. I don't know specifically what his label is, if he even has a label, but he's hung out with some pretty crappy people in the past, and he's starting to not really like that side of himself, and he kind of stumbles across his school's version of a gay straight alliance and decides to join and make some friends that are going to treat him with respect and treat others with respect. And I think it's going to be a really nice, heartfelt read. I'm probably going to cry, and what better way to do that? Cuddling my cat with a cup of hot cocoa. That just seems like the perfect cozy read to me. All right, roll number 5. A 5. Ooh, what one do I want to do? Let's do... Sorry, guys, I'm just going sci-fi fantasy. I don't need your help. I don't need your help. All right, we've got opposing characters. So, like, if the main character is really shy, the secondary character would be really outgoing. So that takes a little research, but it's not terrible. You are destroying this board, sir. So sci-fi fantasy opposing characters. So I am going to be reading The Broken Raven by Joseph Elliott. This is the second book in the Shadow Sky trilogy. And they're So I reread the first book, which was Good Hawk, and there is a boy, I forget the characters' names though, Agatha and Jamie. So Jamie is kind of this play by the rules, do what you're told, don't like fight the rules or anything like that. You don't know better, your clan knows better type of guy. And Agatha actually has Down syndrome, which is not named in this book, but the author has revealed that that is what she has, because he's worked with people with Down syndrome before, so that's originally why I got into the series. And she is break all the rules. She wants to be treated like everyone else, and if you're not treating her like everyone else, she's gonna throw a tantrum, and she's gonna do whatever she wants and whatever she thinks is best, kind of thing. So in the first book, they kind of get like their clan is being overrun by a group of bad people, and they kind of get like stuck in a situation where they have to try to figure out how to help them together, and all that ends up happening is a bunch of chaos and learning that Agatha is something special and Jamie kind of discovering himself, and it's a really touching book. So this is the second version of that. I didn't think I would like this series originally. I was excited that it had Down syndrome rep. This also has LGBTQ plus rep. It's got mental health rep. It's great. I really enjoy the series, the first book of the series, so I'm hoping I enjoy this one as much. But what I really, really loved about it was that I didn't think I would like a book that's like, it's kind of like old-timey clan, like live in the woods and you live in huts kind of thing, which I don't think they're actually living in huts, but like when they're talking about their housing and their shelter, it's very like, it's not even like old-timey like realistic old timey. It's like Shire kind of thing. Like, and I just didn't think I would like that type of book, and I ended up loving it. I loved the story. I loved the plot line. So, I loved the characters. I thought Agatha was such a fun character, and I liked Jamie too. I thought he was a good opposition to her. So that is why I'm going to read this one for sci-fi fantasy opposing character. All right, roll number 6. And we got a 2, again, another 2. Let's go nonfiction memoir. I hate picking that one, but let's do it. A 2020 to 2022 release. All right, that's not too bad. So a book that's come out within the last 2 years. That's not horrible. All right, this one was kind of hard for me. So we had a nonfiction 2020 to 2022 release, which means it's had to come out between the years 2020 and 2022. I decided to go with Nothing Special by Diane Bilak. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. But this is about 2 sisters, one who has Down syndrome and one who is of typical development, and kind of their lives growing up together in the 1970s and how people treated her sister differently because she had Down syndrome. You guys know, if you're not new to my channel, if you are new to my channel, you're finding out right now, but my nephew has Down syndrome. It's something that I'm a huge advocate for, and getting that inclusion and stuff all in there. Hi, Bing. So I'm very excited to read this book. I did find it on Scribd for audiobook, and I do think I'm going to really enjoy it, so I'm glad I got that role. I normally don't like nonfiction, so I'm excited for this one. All right, and because I didn't do a TBR for the month of March, my gift to you guys is I will do one more roll. So let's see what we get. A 1, Chandler. All right, I've gotten my dice back. All right, so we're going to go 1, and I'm just going to go miscellaneous. Keep it easy for myself. And we have, oh, so easy, an audiobook. This month was actually pretty nice to me, guys. All right, so we got a miscellaneous audiobook, which means I can pick anything I want. For this one, I think I'm going to go with The Westing Game by Ellen Raskin. This is about a group of kids, and I believe there's like a mystery going on. I don't know super much about it. This was highly recommended to me by one of my dance students, and if my dance students are recommending a book to me, I try to go out of my way to read it because I know they're very passionate about it if they're trying to get me to read it. So I try to encourage that as much as I can. But yeah, so The Westing Game, I believe it's a mystery with a bunch of kids, and they're trying to solve it, and I don't know if it takes place during like an old time or they're like at like a place that's an olden time. I don't really super know what it's about. They've tried explaining it to me a couple times, but I am kind of going in blind with this. But I did find the audiobook on YouTube, and I think that's what we're gonna go with for that one. If you know more about the Weston game and you want to put the summary down below for other people, super appreciate it. I'm just gonna kind of read it, and if you guys are interested in knowing what that's about more, then we will I will talk about it in my April vlog and in my wrap up and on Instagram. So yeah, that's that. All right, so that's a wrap for Bookardy. So let's talk about Reading Rivalry. Reading Rivalry is a Facebook game on Facebook. If you're interested, you can go check it out. But it is, every month there's a theme. You're sorted into a team that goes with that theme. There's a list of 10 prompts that they want you to follow. You can also log books that don't go with those prompts, but you get bonus points for doing the prompts. There's also bonuses and different events you can do and stuff like that to get bonus points. But really the main thing is following the prompts. So I'm going to tell you guys the prompts and what books that I have found for it. This month's theme is Hollywood Chris's. So I am on team Chris Colfer. So if you guys don't know who that is, he plays Kurt on Glee. He also was, I believe, I don't know if he was the lead in Struck by Lightning. I know he wrote Struck by Lightning, but I feel like he was also in Struck by Lightning. And he writes the book Land of Stories, that series. So one of my favorite characters on Glee. I've always loved Kurt, so I was excited to be put on team Chris Colfer. So these are the things that we have to read this month. So the first thing is True Crime, which I will be reading using for this one the Jean Benet book that I've already talked about by Steve Thomas. It worked out perfectly that I had that book. It was 413 pages and it worked for True Crime, so I've just used it for the same thing. Then I have Book with a Chris. So it had to be a book with either a character named Chris, Christina, an author named Chris, Christina, something like that. Something where they would call the character or author Chris. For that, I am going to use The Weston Game by Ellen Raskin, as I already talked about. But there is a character named Chris who I believe is wheelchair bound in this book. So that will work for that one. Then I have main character written by a male author. And I actually forgot that book, so let me go grab it really quick. So for main character written by a male author, I'm going to be reading Mr. Lemoncello's Library Olympics by Chris Graberstein. Oh, I didn't even realize this was by a Chris too. I could have used that for that too. But this will work out well. So this book, I read the first book back in 2020, I think. Yeah, I think it was pandemic year. So this is the Mr. Lemoncello's series, and I read Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library back in 2020. And it was about this kind of crazy game maker who wanted to pick a kid to win this big prize, and he ends up turning a library into like an escape room, and only kids who are the best at like riddles and puzzles and stuff like that would be able to solve it, escape from the library, and win the prize. So this is the second book in the series. It's a fun middle grade. I think I'm going to really enjoy it. I don't want to say too much about what it's about because I don't want to spoil the first one for anyone, but I think I'm going to really enjoy this one, and it's short, it's sweet, and a cute little book. So the next one I'm going to be reading is a main character with a strong moral code. And for that, I'm going to be using Rick by Alex Gino that I already talked about. I think the fact that the character realizes that the friends he has are not good people, and they're not supportive of each other or anything like that, and he joins this gay-straight alliance situation. I think that that's really a testament to his morals, and I think it'll work well for this prompt. And again, I'm already reading it for Cozy Read, so we're going to stick with it for that one too. Then I have a book with a character who has blue eyes. For this one, I'm going to read Harley Quinn Reckoning by Rachel Allen. If you guys look close at the cover, Harley Quinn does have blue eyes on it. This has been on my TBR for, I want to say 3 months now, 2 months now, something like that. I have been wanting to read this. I love Harley Quinn. I think she is such an awesome character, a nice little anti-hero, and I think it sounds like a really good read. This specifically, I will tell you, it says, experience the thrilling origin story of a supervillain. When Harleen Quinzel scores an internship in a psych lab at Gotham University, she is desperate to make a discovery that will help land her a college scholarship and help her escape her abusive father. But when Harleen witnesses how women are treated across STEM departments and experiences harassment herself, she decides that revenge is more important than her own dreams. Harleen finds her place in the reckoning and an intoxicating girl gang whose members create chaos to inspire change. And when Harleen falls for another girl in the gang, it seems she's finally found her true passions. But when one of those gang members is murdered and terrifying conspiracy is uncovered, will she choose her future or will she choose vengeance? So I think this sounds really good. I'm excited to read it. I'm excited. I love Harley Quinn and I think it's going to be a really fun read. So even though it's a little bit thicker than probably what I want to read during this time, during a busy month, I think I could probably bring it to the hotels with me when I'm at competition this month and kind of use some downtime to read through it. That was also my plan in March though, and I didn't pick it up at all in March. So I did read some in March. I read about 5 books in March, I think, but not nearly as much as I normally read. So the next one is Comedic Relief, which I will be reading Ungifted by Gordon Corman. I love Gordon Corman's books. I think he's such a good writer. He wrote a couple different things that I've read now, including the Titanic series, which he got a little like conspiracy theory in the Titanic series for me, with like it being about Jack the Ripper too, which was a little weird, but for the most part, I really liked his writing style. It got weird at some points. But this one is specifically about a boy who, I think it's a boy, accidentally gets put into a gifted school. Something goes wrong with his test results. He is not a gifted student, but he gets put in a gifted school and everyone is so proud of him, he doesn't say anything. So he ends up there and he is struggling to get through. And I think it sounds so fun. I think the character sounds funny and I think I'm going to really enjoy it. And I did also find that on Scribd. So again, another audiobook for me to relax with. Then I'm going to be reading, oh, you know what? I actually realized that I said this wrong. So a male main character by a male author. I said I was reading Mr. Lemoncello and I just realized that I swapped it around. For that one, I'm actually reading Broken Raven. So I've already talked about this, but this is there's a male main character and a male author. For Mr. Lemoncello, I'm actually using this for Jack of all trades because Mr. Lemoncello's got a lot of stuff up his sleeves. I think either would work for either prompt, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I swapped those around. So this is Jack of all trades and this is male main character by a male author. The next one is The Biggest Himbo to Ever Himbo. And I didn't know what a himbo was. Apparently I'm old and don't know that slang. But apparently it's like a dumb guy with a heart of gold or something like that. So for that, I'm going to be reading the book Bet on It by Jody Slaughter. It looks like some cute little romance book where the guy is kind of like doofy and they end up like playing bingo or something, like it's like at her like grandma's bingo or something like that, like the girl main character's grandma's bingo where she meets this guy. And yeah, it just sounds kind of like goofy, and the character, when I read the back of it, sounded like it really would work for a himbo, so hopefully it will. I'm not a big romance person, but I do throw one, I think one a month on my TBR. I really like the comedy and the character aspects of romance. I just don't like spice in my books at all. So I usually just either fast forward it if it's an audiobook and there's spice in it, or if I am reading it physically, I'll kind of just like skim it. But for the most part, I like the characters and the comedy and that kind of element of it. I just don't like spice. So then A Light in a Dark Place. So this is about either physically a light in a dark place or a character that's a light in the dark. And for this, I'm going to be reading Hello Universe by Erin and Trotta Kelly. I don't super know what this is about, but I do know it works for the prompt. I believe what it's about is these kids decide to prank another kid and he gets stuck in like a cavern or a cave or something like that. Watch me be totally wrong. I will put here if I'm completely wrong or not. But I think that's what it's about. And he is trying to just like stay optimistic and hopeful during that time until he's rescued is what I think it's about. I think. I'm hoping. If I'm wrong, I'll write it somewhere about what it's actually about, but I think that's what it's about. And again, I found it on Scribd. That one I wasn't like super passionate about reading, but it sounded like it worked for the prompt, so I went with it. And then I needed a book that was an award winner, and for that I went with Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. I don't know if it's won any like huge awards, but it did have quite a list of awards on Goodreads, and that's what I used to kind of determine. So I don't know if it won like a Pulitzer or anything. I didn't like look too much into that. Is a Pulitzer, would that even count for Jurassic Park? I don't actually know what a Pulitzer is. I write too. I went to school for creative writing. I have no idea anything about writing awards, like nothing. I should really know more, but I don't know anything about writing awards. They don't teach you that in college for writing. In college for writing, they teach you you're probably not going to be successful, good luck. So that sucks, but that's what it is. So yeah, so for that I'm going to be reading Jurassic Park, which I've already explained about, and I am doing 12 classics in 12 months, where every month I read one classic book to try to get through some of the greater classics. For this month, because I'm having such a busy month and getting ready with all these competitions and recital related things, I decided to just use the Westing game. And I did ask the group if they thought the Westing game was counted as a classic, and they said yes. But if not, I would use Jurassic Park, which some people consider a classic, but I think it was 90s, so it's not as sellable as a classic as the Westing game, which was 70s publication. So yeah, so I'm going to be using that one, and if it ends up being a problem, I'll just pick another audiobook to listen to. But yeah, so those are all the things that I have to read for the month of April. And then one book that I would like to read, because I've wanted to read it for a few months now and I keep just not getting to it, is Otter by Catherine Applegate, which is about this adorable little otter. And I believe she gets herself like stuck or something. Oh, she comes face to face with a hungry great white shark, and her life takes a dramatic turn. One that will challenge everything she believes about herself and about the humans who hope to save her. So I've been wanting to read this. It's written in prose, so it should be prose, stanzas, whatever you want to call it. So it should be a pretty easy read, and it is one that I'd really like to get to this month. So I'm hoping I can fit it in. If not, I'll put it on next month's, but I'm hoping I can get it in April. But yeah, that is that, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you whatever comes next. Bye!
Wasn't that a great video? Clearly books make me very happy. Now you can make me happy too. Click the subscribe button to follow my channel. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you think I did good. And the notification bell will let you know when I post new content. Also, follow my Instagram for more book shenanigans.